Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Don Anthony Montgomery.
And I am J. Princia Thompson. At this time, we would like to begin our program. Please take your seat
And get settled in for a wonderful treat this evening. We would like to welcome you to our annual Voices of Today's Leaders program. We are so excited to see all of our family, friends, teachers, and administrators here to support us. With that being said, we are ready to introduce our first presenters.
This year, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students were empowered to explore the meaning of self-expression in our communications class. We understand that our spoken and written words, our actions and appearance communicates who we are and what we think. Understanding this now will help us be more successful in life.
At this time, we are going to hear reflections from 8th grade students. The first group of presenters are Amaya Bayless, Cameron Tucker, and Maya Hicks. They will be followed by Group 2, Riley Cosley, Zoe McCray, and Kayla Bailey.
The novel, Ask and It Is Given, by Esther and Jerry Hicks, has shown me how to manifest positive energy so that I can have a more positive outcome. Before reading this book, I would normally focus on the negative aspects of life. When you change the way you look at it, the things you look at start to change. I have learned that in order for this process to work in my favor, I must approach every situation with a positive attitude. When I am not reading the pages of a book, I am expressing my emotions, thoughts, and creativity through art. Art gives me the freedom to create, learn, and grow. When I am creating art, I am allowed to make mistakes. The word perfection does not exist when I'm constructing my masterpiece. When I paint, I escape to a quiet and peaceful place where I am free of my overwhelming responsibilities and reality. I am able to forget all of my worries when I am in my creative zone. Some of my greatest gifts in life are a book, paintbrush, and a canvas.
Participating in an organization called Girls on the Run inspired me to continue running in track and field activities. Running track has helped me release all of my frustrations. When I walk on the track, I instantly feel a sense of joy. When I hear the words, "Get ready," I mentally prepare myself to leave all of my frustrations behind because my target is the finish line. This is now the same attitude I take to school. When my teachers give me an assignment, I always strive to get the best grade possible. Just like I go the extra mile to get ahead of everyone else, I go the extra mile to study longer so I can put my best foot forward when I'm working on projects and presentations. Before track, I kept all my emotions bottled up, especially when I was bullied. Not only is track a passion of mine, but I've also been told by my coaches that I'm pretty good at it. Maybe one day, I will run my way to a scholarship.
always admired Serena Williams' grace, strength, and determination. She is an amazing tennis player. I have this unexplainable feeling every time I hold my tennis racket. The intensity of facing my opponent on the court gives me the chills because there is only one winner. Sometimes I may get frustrated while playing tennis, but the passion coursing through my veins pushes me to keep going. I've been playing tennis ever since I was 5 years old at the Franklin Racket Club. Due to financial reasons, I had to stop playing tennis. Even though I stopped playing, that does not mean I had to give up this sport. I always think about how crazy it is that one thing in your life can make such a big difference. Playing tennis has given my life meaning.
I was happy when my name legally changed from Jones to Pickett. You see, I didn't have a consistent father figure until my mom married my stepdad, Leonard Pickett III, or L for short. L has been more of a father to me in 5 minutes than my biological father has my entire life. I can even recall writing Kayla Pickett on all of my papers instead of Kayla Jones until the name eventually stuck. Even though my teachers, family, and friends knew I was a Pickett at heart, I still wanted the world to know who I really was. I remember the shocked expression my mom wore when I told her I wouldn't mind if Ella adopted me so that I could take his last name. It was the same expression the judge wore when my mom told him that I was the one who wanted to change my last name. The judge finalized the change so that I could say, I am Kayla Pickett.
Creating art for as long as I can remember. Some of my favorite hobbies are painting, drawing, and crafting. Recently, I've gotten more into drawing and graphic design. No one can tell me what to do or how to do it when I'm creating a piece of art. Art helps me express how I am feeling. It gives me an outlet to put my creativity on paper. When I first started drawing, it didn't matter to me if my drawings weren't that great. It was the fun of learning how to grow and get better. That's when I knew that art was what I wanted to pursue in life. There's something about holding the pencil, deciding the colors, and seeing my creation come to life. Each piece is like a journey of self-discovery. Each time I draw, I'm learning something new about myself. It is the greatest feeling in the world.
The IB Community Project is a major activity that all 8th grade students have to complete in the final year of the NYP program at Thompson. We had to become aware of needs in various communities and address those needs through service learning. We were challenged to choose an issue that matters to us and then do something that will impact a community or organization. After completing our project, good deed can ignite, change, and positively impact a community, thus making the world a better place. Some of the projects initiated and completed by 8th graders included a kindness box project. Students wanted to inspire kindness into the Thompson community. Winter accessories were given to Alternatives for Girls Home in Detroit, Michigan. The Etiquette Essentials group promoted the importance of how practicing good manners will help you be more successful in life. At this time, Don Anthony Montgomery and Anthony Borum will present their community project. After their presentation, we will hear more reflections from 8th graders in Group 3, Janai Hardy, Kendall Mays, and Kira Huffman. In Group 4, Tanisha Boyd, Magenda Day, and Torrance Sanders.
My name is Anthony Bourne, and I am Don Anthony Montgomery. We are so excited to present to you our community project. My partner and I bounced a lot of ideas off each other until we finally found one that could make a huge impact in our school community. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we are the Dynamic Duo. Our goal in global context. Our goal was to teach 6th grade boys in our school community about dressing for success. In doing this, we wanted to make sure that the young men knew that ties can be one of the most important things a man can wear when he's dressing professionally. A tie can make you feel confident and set you apart from others. In our communications class, we learned that people see before they hear you. The 6th grade boys learned the importance of making a good first impression. Our project connects to personal and cultural expression. We wanted the boys to realize that their appearance can express who they are to the world. In order to change their beliefs, we had to help them understand that dressing professionally is more than wearing the latest pair of shoes or jeans. We asked the young men, should a person walk around in the community looking like this? With their pants sagging and their underwear showing? Nah, I think this is absolutely disgusting. I have to agree with you, Anthony. This isn't attractive at all. As you can see in this picture, we had an honest conversation with the young men. After having our discussion, we found that all of them felt that sagging your pants is an inappropriate way to dress. The 6th grade boys were eager to be a part of our conversation, and they did not hesitate to share their opinions. During our discussion, the young men had a lot of questions about why we have a dress code at school. After doing our research, we found that students attending a school with dress code are more disciplined and listen significantly better. After having our rich discussion, we showed the boys a picture of a young man that was truly dressed for success. You know what, Don? I think we look pretty good seeing ourselves. Right, man. We really are dressed for success. IB learner profiles are skills that we develop during our IB journey. Thinker. After doing our research, we found that there were over 30 ways to tie a tie. Our group had to decide which method would be easiest to teach to the 6th grade boys. They had to execute the knot within the amount of time they had in our session. My partner and I also had to find a meaningful quote to give to the young man in praise. Communicator. In the beginning stages of our project, we were able to listen to each other, make decisions, and solve problems. We did not hesitate to offer our opinions to one another.
We also had to make sure that we were able to clearly communicate the steps required to tie a tie.
After doing more research, we found that people get an impression of others within the first 10 seconds of meeting them.
Something else we found was that dressing professionally can boost self-confidence. When we look good on the outside, we feel good on the inside.
Finally, we were able to take action with the young men. In this slide, I'm helping each boy master the art of tying a tie. It made us feel good to see how excited the young men were to learn how to tie a necktie. As a matter of fact, they wanted to perfect the skill by trying again and again. In the end, every young man was successful.
This slide shows the frames that we gave to every young man at our workshop. The frames state, the way we dress affects the way we think, the way we feel, the way we act, and the way others react to us. We wanted the boys to walk away with something that could remind them about the importance of dressing for success.
Not every young man learns how to tie a necktie. That's why my partner and I were so excited when we took this picture, because we were honored to teach the boys a skill they would use for the rest of their lives. They were smiling and we were smiling because we had accomplished our goal.
Watching the boys successfully tie a necktie made us so happy and accomplished. It was surprising to see how excited and engaged the boys were as they learned to tie a tie. We thought to ourselves, that's what's up. If we did not procrastinate, we could have worked with more young men which would have allowed us to make a bigger impact in our community. The most fulfilling part of our project is that we are now recognized as role models and good examples for the young men. It feels good when Dr. Anthony and I are recognized as the dynamic duo.
As a group, my partner and I took a lot away from our experience. We met our goal by teaching each young man how to tie a necktie. That is a skill they will be able to use for the rest of their lives. Anthony and I grew as well. Hard work, time management, and patience were all skills that were put to the test during our community project.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are the dynamic duo.
I have learned how to be more cautious after dealing with a fake friend. The person that I called my friend for years was toxic and fake. Whenever I would talk about my dreams and my passions, she would insult them and call me weird. She would lash out and be negative for no reason at all. She was also rude and disrespectful to adults, especially when she didn't get her way. Because I allowed her into my life, I often went home angry or depressed. At my birthday party, she was inappropriate and tried to put the spotlight on herself. She nearly ruined my birthday. When I was at a low point, she did not comfort me. Instead, she laughed and belittled me. However, I am grateful that she was in my life because she has taught me to be more mindful about the people I surround myself with. Since I was 5, I have been modeling for the NAACP and the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority House in Detroit. It has been such an honor to participate in a program that helps the African American people in my community. I won the competition for Youth Fashions for Freedom and was titled Little Miss NAACP. It felt good to be in front of a big crowd holding all of my achievements. Now, I go to the Cocoa Hall dinner every year, but this year, I was going to be at the podium with very important people. It was such a great opportunity to meet people you may see in the newspaper and on television. It made me feel good to know that my family and people who I didn't even know were there cheering for me. I am honored to be able to model for the NAACP.
I never knew that my basketball coach would be a father figure in my life. When I was little, I did not realize how much of an impact not having an everyday father could have on me. My dad was always in and out of my life. When I needed him the most, he was nowhere to be found. I never thought that I would have someone to look up to. Someone that would guide me. Until I met Ernest Freeman. My coach has been with me since the 2nd grade. Every day, he tells me how much of a son I am to him. He spends just as much time with me as he does with his own son. His guidance on and off the court has paved the path for me that I will continue to follow until I have reached my goal.
My grandmother has worked hard all of her life. She did not get the chance to have a normal teenage life because her mother passed away. She had to drop out of school and take care of her 10 siblings and her father. At 15 years old, she took on a big responsibility. Eventually, she married my grandfather, and they had 10 children together. My grandmother has been taking care of kids all of her life. I admire her because she opened up her door to the kids in her community. My grandmother is the nicest person I know. But when you don't do what she tells you to do the first time, she takes it to a whole nother level. She did not play about keeping the house clean. I read a quote that says, family isn't always blood. It is the people in your life who want you in theirs. The ones who will do anything to see you smile and who loves you no matter what. My 80-year-old grandmother takes care of anybody she can. It did not matter if you were related to her or not. She was there to help. Grandma, could you please stand up? So that I can honor you for all the hard work you did for me and many others.
My dad is an important role model in my life. When I get older, I want to be just like him. A gifted man that is a carpenter, home renovator, electrician, plumber, and designer all in one. Watching him work is like watching a magician do magic. The way he uses his hands to put together every piece with perfection is amazing. I've seen him design a bathroom that looked like it should have been made in the future. He made it look like he could do it in his sleep. His work is his passion, and he uses that to provide for our family. As I began to get older, I started to understand why he would work such long hours. I now know that it is because he is particular about his work. It is an honor to be able to stand by his side as he teaches me everything he knows. My dad is still shaping me into the successful and intelligent young man that he always knew I could be.
I used to think that my peers wouldn't like me if I didn't wear expensive or name brand clothes. After watching a documentary called Last Chance High about families dealing with poverty, I thought about how my parents were doing everything they could to provide for us. This documentary taught me to ask for less and give more. I never take anything for granted because there are many people in the world who could benefit from what I have. Changing my mindset helped me no longer be ashamed of my nationality, my skin tone, and my hijab. You see, when I was younger, I hated being called the dark-skinned girl or the African girl. I hated being teased because of how I looked. I thought that I wasn't good enough for those students. But now, I realize that they only did this to get a reaction out of me. I let them get to my head. I let them bring me down until I decided to stand up for myself. I started to embrace the melanin in my skin, rather than hiding the fact that I was a Senegalese girl. I will never let anyone bring me down to the point where I bully others because of my own pain and misery.
As you can see, we have learned to speak clearly, slowly, and with great expression so that our audience can understand and engage with what we are saying. Our use of hand gestures also helps emphasize what we are trying to communicate.
One of the most powerful ways to communicate confidence when speaking in a one-on-one or in a group is to give great eye contact.
Whispering, mumbling, and speaking with your head down makes it easy for people to ignore you or talk over you. This evening, you will see participants speak with clarity and strength as they share their truths.
In order to give a good speech, you must first write a good speech. We are encouraged to draw upon life experiences when writing our speeches. In our communications class, we write about topics that are meaningful to us.
Topics that we are passionate about. Our next presentation was performed during this year's Black History Month program. Sixth graders Uriah Foster and Tom V. Wynn, and seventh graders Ariel Lewis Sandu and Julian Watkins will perform a piece titled Black History Sounds Like by Shakira Mitchell. After their performance, we will have more reflections by 8th grade students. Group 5, Japrincia Simpson, Yusei Al-Kahil, and Krishan Singleton. And Group 6, Denois Lanier, Olushinu Oyekami, and Diego Rosales.
Somebody asked me, what does history sound like? I said, history sounds like 9 months.
Like the birth of a new life.
Like a soft whisper over a cradle.
A sweet melody over a tight beat.
It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. History sounds a lot like
Ella.
Like jazz, even when we're beaten, black, and bruised.
backs bent,
Breathing.
Breathing.
Breathing. History still sounds like the blues.
Like Harlem.
Like Duke.
Like Marcus, W.E.B. Du Bois.
Langston Hughes. Smith.
Like
Survival.
like hums and bongos, like the clicking of a railroad track. It sounds like old Negro spirituals.
Celebration. And safe houses.
It sounds like Harriet Tubman's underground maps to a freedom land where freedom ain't so
Free.
It sounds like 1913 and everything in between. The beats of women marching, the banging of a glass ceiling.
We walk with shards in between our knuckles and our fists. So keep your glass slipper.
A woman is not supposed to do any heavy lifting. We belong in the kitchen, in the house,
in the Senate, in the Oval Office,
history sounds like Michelle,
like Shirley,
unbossed and unbought. History sounds like
The clipping of Jim Crow's wings.
Dr. Martin Luther King,
like Booker T. Washington, like the unsung heroes we don't care much about.
history sounds like
Baker, Clark, Bates, like women who are out of this world, stay hidden behind chalkboards.
these figures are still undercalculated. Days we wake up and don't listen to the history within us.
Days where little black boys
And girls do not listen to the magic pumping through their veins.
History sounds like
You, the beautiful, black, and gifted, you. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
After reading the novel Copper Sun, I was inspired to find out more about my ancestors. I found out that I had interracial grandparents from the 19th century. My grandmother was a white Virginia woman named Minnie Ethel Cox, and my grandfather was a black Virginia man named Dennis Pete Austin. Interracial marriages weren't really common during that time because of the thick roots of slavery and racism. However, somehow my grandparents married in one of the most racist states in America at that time. Love is not about the color of your skin, nor the texture of your hair. It isn't about your gender, nor your sexuality. Love is love, and it is absolutely beautiful. My second generation grandparents taught me that love has no color.
My family and I fled from Syria because of the war. I ran away from the place that I was born in, the place that I called home. I left all my memories there because we wanted to live in a safe environment. We no longer wanted to experience violence and bombing. My parents always told me that what I heard was fireworks. As I grew older, I started to realize that what I was actually hearing was shooting and bombing in Syria. Even though I feel grateful because I'm safe now, I was shocked to hear about the New Zealand attack. Many of my peers don't know I am Muslim. And watching my brothers in Islam get killed while worshiping their God made my heart shatter into pieces. No one goes to a mosque expecting death. I believe that I should be able to practice my religion safely.
Holding a book in my hand is like holding a treasure. Reading has always been my escape when my mind takes me on all of these great adventures in the comfort of my own home. Reading has never been something I was forced to do. It has been something I loved for as long as I can remember. As a kid, I enjoyed reading much more than watching TV or playing outside. Having a love for reading has done many great things for me. Because I read, I have a greater imagination. Reading helped me calm down after having a stressful day. When I'm reading, I travel to so many places, and I become the characters in that book. I also enjoy reading books that give me advice that people around me can't give. Even though those books are realistic fiction, I can relate to them on another level. Reading will always be one of my favorite things to do.
A poem about the Lord helped me realize that my mother is someone who will guide me through tough times. My mother has a plaque with the poem Footprints in the Sand written on it by Mary Fishback Powers. The poem is about a man's dream where he was walking along the beach with the Lord, and above him he saw his light flashing across his eyes. For each image of his life, there were footprints, one belonging to him and the other to the Lord. He soon noticed that when his life was difficult, he saw only one set of footprints. Bothered by this, he questioned the Lord, asking him, "You told me that if I followed you, you would never leave me." But I soon noticed that when my life was sad and gray, I see only one set of footprints. Why would you leave me when I needed you the most? The Lord smiled and told the man, "When your life was filled with the greatness, I was carrying you. I would never leave you." This poem reminded me of my mother. Like the Lord carried him, my mother carried me through the pain of the loss of my father, not being there when I needed him the most. My mom broke the shell of anger that always surrounded me and showed me that pain does not last forever. And because of this, I no longer have a mindset that drags me down.
When I was younger, I did not like being Nigerian. When I looked in the mirror, I saw a dark-skinned African girl with flaws and a name that was hard to pronounce. I wanted to talk and dress like the Americans around me. I did not have a love for my people because I was not comfortable in my own skin. My mother is Yoruba and Igbo, and my father is Yoruba, which makes my siblings and I pure Nigerian. I need to embrace the rich history of my culture. I love going with my mother to our Igbo parties and dancing to our native music while wearing dresses with beautiful colors in the gateway. I now know that the color of my skin, my culture, and my hair is regal. Growing up with my name was difficult. I even got used to being called a name my mother did not give to me until I stood up for myself. I finally decided to correct anyone who mispronounced my name. I regret not opening my mouth sooner. The correct pronunciation is Olushan Oyekami.
I had never felt so much pain until I found out my father was going to be deported from the United States of America because his green card expired. Everything going on with President Trump in the border made me feel like I was never going to see my father ever again. Life became very hard for me. Some days I wanted to run away from the pain. Other days, I just wanted to be alone. I learned that in order to overcome the pain, I needed to be a fighter and push through it. I became stronger, not just for myself, but for my family as well. I'm grateful that God brought him back, because without him, my family and I would have been lost.
Self-expression is about uncovering the power within us.
Our peers are truly doing that this evening. All of us are speaking our truth.
In honor of our First Lady, Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, we were challenged to write about an experience that influenced our belief system. In her book, she discusses the times she's been hurt, her failures, her own humanity, and the times she's been marginalized, to help empower young people, to show them that they too can accomplish great things in spite of their obstacles.
Recently, she said, "Your story is what you have. It is something to own." Ladies and gentlemen, presenting their Becoming are Ryan Jones, Jordan Hall, and Ibrahim Jamalidinov.
I was hurt and confused when I heard about the 2017 massacre shooting at a music festival in Las Vegas. I remember this traumatizing event being all over the social media. I heard people on the news crying about losing their family members due to the actions of a man in need of mental help. I can't believe a man took 48 lives and injured more than 800 people in just 10 minutes. This massacre shooting was the largest in U.S. history. After doing research, I found that 40,000 people died due to gun violence. I also learned that 60% of mass shooters are in need of mental help, and about 2/3 have never been seen by a mental health professional. I am becoming a person who is more mindful about the debates being discussed between Congress and state legislators about guns. I think that guns should be used for protection instead of being used for personal problems. I try not to watch the news because I don't like to see innocent people suffer from unnecessary crimes. I forgive America for not having tougher gun laws in our country. I am becoming a person who will be more aware of my surroundings and will report any suspicious behavior I see or hear about.
I remember being told stories about how life was for African Americans 60 years ago. I heard that back then, the black and white race was segregated, and blacks were treated unfairly. I am becoming a young man that understands that I may experience some of the same things they did. Recently, I was at the Woolies purchasing some candy. As I began to walk away, I was stopped by the manager and asked in a disrespectful tone if I had paid for the candy. Instead of believing me, she went to ask the cashier that checked me out. After finding out that I did pay for the candy, she let me into the movie. I believe for the first time that I experienced what my mother and grandmother always talked about: racial profiling. After this situation, I thought about other young men that might have had an experience similar to mine. I was confused. Did I look suspicious? Did I dress or look like a thug? My mother taught me how to conduct myself in public. Even though I was caught off guard, I was calm and I did not challenge her. I feel like if I didn't conduct myself correctly in that situation, things could have escalated quickly. I am not going to let that situation determine how I view others outside of my race. I am choosing to believe that she didn't mean to come off in a disrespectful way. For me, the situation was more of a learning experience than anything. Instead of holding a grudge, I am choosing to just forgive her for not approaching the cashier, for not asking the cashier before approaching me. I am becoming a young man that is realizing that I need to be more cautious of how I conduct myself, even if I don't agree with what's happening to me.
I was watching the news one day with my family. I saw a terrorist attack being committed against the United States. I heard a person say that all Muslims are the same. This really shocked me. I remember the disbelief in my parents' eyes when they heard this. I worried that my community would be blamed for terrorist attacks in the United States. I am becoming an advocate who fights for the Muslims in my community. Let me introduce myself. I am Ibrahim Jamal Dinaf, and I always enjoy reading Quran with my family. When we pray, it is required for us to face northeast to the Qibla. I forgive the ignorant people who blame Muslims for the acts that they didn't do. I choose. Jak życiem, jak to jest. Men fachlaman, kiyanam. If you could not translate what I just said, it means I choose to be proud of who I am. I will keep fighting for the Muslims in my community because I know we have a place in America. I am becoming a person who refuses to let hateful comments affect me and my brothers.
All 8th graders learned about the American Revolution and the lives and flaws of the nation's founding fathers in their social studies class. They were all excited when they were told that they were going to perform a rendition of the popular hip-hop and rap production, Hamilton. After the Hamilton performance, we will hear from our last two groups. Group 7, Anthony Borum and Ty Robbins. And Group 8, Don Anthony Montgomery, and Supreme Allah. After the last performance, please remain seated for our finale. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Hamilton. How does an orphan, son of a Scotsman, dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean by Providence, impoverished and squalid, grow up to be a hero and a scholar, the $10 founding father without a father, godfather, by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter. By 14, they placed him in charge of a trading charter.
Every day while slaves were being slaughtered and carted away across the waves, he struggled but kept his guard inside. He was looking for something to be a part of. The brother was ready to beg, steal, borrow, or barter. A hurricane came and devastation reigned. Our man saw his future tripping down the drain. Put a pencil to his temple, connected it to his brain. He wrote his source of brain, a testament to his pain.
The word got around. They said this kid is insane, man. They took up a collection to send him to the mainland. Get your education. Don't forget from whence you came. And the world is gonna know your name. What's your name, man?
Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton. And there's a million things I haven't done. But just you wait. Just you wait.
There would have been nothing left to do for someone less astute. He would have been dead or destitute without a sense of restitution.
Started working, clerking for his late mother's landlord, trading sugar cane and rum and all the things he can afford.
Planning for every book that he could get his hands on. Planning for the future. See him now as he stands on the bow of a ship, headed for a new land. In New York, you can be a new man.
In New York, you can be a new man.
In New York, you can be a new man. In New York,
You can
be a new man.
Alexander Hamilton. We are waiting in the wings for you. You can never back down. You never learn to take your time. Oh, Alexander Hamilton, when America sings for you.
Will they literally broke the case? The world will never be the same. The ship is in the harbor now. See if you can spot him. Another immigrant is coming up from the bottom.
I am not throwing away my shots. I am not throwing away my shots. Hey, yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and I'm hungry. I'ma get a scholarship to King's College. I probably shouldn't brag, but Dad, I amaze and astonish. The problem is I have a lot of brains, but no polish. With every word I drop knowledge, I'm a diamond in the rough, a shiny piece of coal, reaching my goal. My power of speech unimpeachable. Don't be shocked when your history book mentions me. I'll lay down my life if it sets us free. Every burden, every disadvantage, I have earned a manage. Walking these streets famished. The plan is to turn this spark into a flame. Let me spell out my name. I am
A-L-E-X-A-N-D-E-R. We are meant to be.
Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton.
After my grandfather passed away, the phrase, all good things come to an end, made a lot more sense to me. You see, my grandpa and I, we were like best friends. We used to watch TV, play board games, and just have fun together. Unfortunately, early in 2013, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Watching my grandpa battle with this disease made me curious about it. After doing research, I found that Alzheimer's is an irreversible brain disorder that gradually destroys memory, thinking skills, and the ability to carry out the simplest tasks. There are over 3 million cases per year in the U.S. Sadly, this disease took my grandfather. It was difficult to lose someone that I was so close to. But it helped me realize that I have to cherish the time I have with my loved ones.
I was really young when my brother went to the Air Force. I was sad, but I adjusted. I didn't really know what the Air Force was until later. After I learned that my brother was helping to protect our nation's skies and supporting our ground troops, I was so proud of him. My brother and so many others put their lives aside to protect people, no matter the cost. I have realized that most people in the military have to leave their loved ones behind. John works as an engineer and sometimes goes to different countries to patrol in dangerous areas. He is now deployed in South Korea. I never liked to see him go, but now that I understand his job, I know it's for a greater cause. People in the military make so many sacrifices. They pledge themselves to our nation, and for that, I am grateful to every person that serves our country.
When I was 11, my summer job turned into a gateway for lifelong relationships. Every Saturday, I bake, package, and sell cookies to barbers and hairstylists. When I was younger, I did not know how much of an impact baking cookies would have on my life. Since I've been selling cookies for about 3 years now, I have built relationships with my customers. All of the barbers on 6th and 7 Mile have become my friends, providing me with wisdom and encouragement. One time, I brought in my report card to show to my customers. They were so proud of me. They began giving me money to keep up the good work. That week, when I was done selling my cookies, I walked away with $120 due to my report card alone. All of the barbers and hairstylists on 6th and 7 Mile have shown me love and support, and I will cherish my relationships with them for days to come.
This year, my teachers felt like I was disrespectful due to the smart mouth and sarcastic tone I often use in class. I had to evaluate myself. I realized that I was trying to be funny during class by making unnecessary comments while they were teaching. I also began to use my voice to challenge my mother in a disrespectful way. I know that if I continue on this path, it will damage my reputation in school and harm my relationship with my mother. I once read a quote that states, "It takes 20 years to build a reputation, but 5 minutes to ruin it." My actions almost prevented me from participating in this program. I felt like I was using my power of speech for all the wrong reasons. Instead, I will use my voice to motivate young men to be more mindful of what they speak into this world.
say that it's such a joy to work with students who are truly just committed to the process. They were committed to the process of being successful. And I want to say it's just a joy to work with kids who are just committed to working hard, committed to staying after school. I would like to recognize Miss Montgomery, who is the mother of one of my students, Don Anthony Montgomery. And it's funny because you don't realize all of the hidden talents that your parents have. So she is an expert in spoken word. Yeah. So after finding out her talents, we were talking one day, and she said, "Ooh, Sandra, I want to volunteer." And I said, "Absolutely. Tell me your days." So she was in the library on 2 days you came out. She was in the library with students, and I was in the cafeteria. But what got me most of all is when I said, "Absolutely." She was working with the kids, clapping and excited, and I could see it in your eyes. You were so excited, and I just want to say that I see you, and I appreciate you. We appreciate you. Just a little token to say we love you. This is my ITC person. Woo. I could not do this. All of that stuff you see happening. You know, I put it together, but you know, I get confused, and do I need to do this? And I call them and send them emails on the weekend, and I'm like, and then some days I'm like, okay, this is not working. Like this evening, something was not working out. But you use your magic along with our other ITC person. Can you please stand? Yeah. Person from our district, and I just want to thank Ron because you're so just patient with the kids and just he's always so patient. So just a little token to say
when you empower students to find their voice. When you give students opportunities to dig deep and pull out what's inside of them and deliver it in a powerful and meaningful way. When our students find their voice, it empowers them to not only speak their truth, but also to recognize truth and non-truth when they see it in the world around them. These students have evidently and obviously found their voices, but we need each of you to continue to plant in them so that their voices will not grow dim. Thank you so much, Mrs. Shackelford. I've had the pleasure of working with her for probably over 20 years, and it has been a joy to work with her in 2 different schools and to see the fruition of her work, of her dedication and her passion, and to see it as it grows from one school to another and from one child to another. So I'm asking each of you to continue to encourage, but even more importantly, to continue to listen to our students' voices. Thank you, and go forth and help them to be great.
Shaq, all of us have gathered around and want to figure out what we're going to say to you this evening. We want to thank you for everything you've done for us, for help shaping us to the young men and women we are today. So I appreciate you. Wait, Shaq.
If you guys didn't know this, I am an 8th grader at Thompson. When I first entered middle school, I will always hear Miss Shack's name. And along with that name, I would hear how her students speak so well, how, you know, they can all be so intelligent and, you know. And I used to sit there and I used to be like, who is Miss Shack? Because I was like too young to really understand so much. But then when I first went to her classroom, I remember sitting up so straight because I was so scared. And I was like, am I going to be good? Like, I was sitting there. But then when she started to teach, and when I actually saw who she was, I began to get this feeling like I was in a peaceful world. When I go to Miss Shack's classroom, it's like you're immediately enveloped in such a positive environment. And it's like you just love the woman because she's just so amazing. She's literally amazing. And I used to look at her and I used to be like, wow, like, I want to be like her when I grow up. And I used to just be so like, how does she be real? You know? So it's like, and I remember I didn't have a voice. I was so scared to use it sometimes. And then she used to always tell me one thing is my truth, and it is my voice, and I have a right to speak. And so, as time went on, as I came to 8th grade, my voice became more powerful, and I became more confident in my words, my actions, and my appearance. And I've grown a lot from this Shack. I love it.
So us three are here representing this whole group, all of our peers that worked with Miss Shack. And I was asking a few of them, like, what are some things that you think of Miss Shack? And I remember one of them telling me, Miss Shack is rare. She's like a rare ruby. And when you get rare rubies and you get rare teachers, you cherish them. You cherish them for as long as you can. And I am leaving this year. I'm an 8th grader here at Thompson. And I'm so proud of myself to be a part of this program and to grow and develop. But I'm really proud. I'm proud of Miss Shack because during our Voices of Today season, you always have to stay after and practice. There's not a week where you're not here at the school until 6 o'clock practicing. And we all have to pick 2 days. You know, you move around your schedule. But Miss Shack, she's always here the whole week. We're just here for 2 days or so, but Miss Shack is here. We call Miss Shack in the nighttime to go over our pieces, and she's at the school until 10 o'clock. The janitors are kicking her out because she's always there. Miss Shack is just, she loves to see us do good, and she loves to see us thrive. And I'm in awe with you because it's so amazing how you love to see your students. And when I think about this program and I think about being in Miss Shack's class, and I know I'm leaving, but I just get so excited when I think about my journey ahead and how Miss Shack will be there every step of the way. From my prom, to my wedding, to my dance. Right there, and I'm just so excited. I'm so excited to think about it. And she's gonna be so proud of me just like she is now. And I really, truly love you, Michelle.